certainly not for 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, so it takes a lot out of your battery, doesn't it? When you're like
that. And now, I mean, I used to go walking for sometimes an hour or 2 hours a day, if time allowed. But I haven't been doing that yet. But I'm gradually getting out. And today, no, actually, I didn't walk I walked to town today, which is a really easy walk. Because I'm near Heath Town. I'm in Heath Town. So it's a really 10-minute, 15-minute walk to town. So I did that, but coming back, admittedly I got a taxi back. But yeah, I'm just trying to build up my energy now and eat some good food and just relax and you know what I mean, and then get ready to put my armor back on and keep going.
It's a gradual process, actually. I mean, although it could be okay, despite what you were taking, the vitamin supplements, what you're taking, the virus got through your defenses. It got through mine as well. I had it bad as well.
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
You were doing supplements as well, Owen.
Yeah, I think I'd have got it worse had I not started taking the echinacea all the way back in September. Okay. Right. As soon as the sun turned, start taking the echinacea like every day, then reduce it to every other day. The vitamin D, yeah, I don't take the vitamin D every day, but I was regularly taking it. And of course, the thing, the potassium and the zinc, you'll get that stuff from food like eggs and greens and stuff like that. So I was doing that. I think the reason why I went down was because I was at school amongst kids, and children are infant.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, but also I think it was that time of the year where your body is run down because you're going out to camera and tongue. You can take all of the supplements you want. If you're beginning to get tired, the virus, in amongst the virus too, it's going to get you.
Yeah.
And I know what kid you got it from. I know the child that got it from. I do.
Really?
He wasn't very well. And I was working with him. I was in a maths lesson sitting beside him, He wasn't very well at all. Tried to get in touch with his parents, tried to send him home. Couldn't get in touch with his parents. A poor lad had to stay at school all day. He was really looking bad, And it was a Thursday I was with him. It was a Wednesday I was with him. By the Friday, I wasn't feeling too good at all. I must go out to see the brand new heavies it was in Bilston at the Robbie 2. Yeah, got my reservation, everything. Had to cancel it. I was in so much pain. I felt like I was beaten up Friday and the Saturday. I spent most of Saturday and the Sunday sleeping. And the Sunday afternoon, I couldn't get out of bed. I was that weak. Long and short of it is, it knocked me about. It did. I didn't think. The last time I was as ill as that was 4 years previous, when I picked up the Australian flu from a school I was at.
Yeah.
This COVID was evil. It was vicious. It took the weight off me because I couldn't eat, so I didn't feel like eating. I was breathless, so I couldn't sleep very well because every time I felt like I was sleeping, I felt like someone was trying to take the breath out of my body.
Yeah,
I did at times. I was telling Tony this. I did at times think I was going to die, and that's the truth. And I'm not here. I'm here on my own. I thought, I'm not going to hospital because I thought, well, if you go to hospital, you're not coming out alive.
Yeah. Chances, you know what I mean? You're rather taking chances at home. I hear that.
I think everybody's thinking about that about hospitals at the moment. Normally, a hospital somewhere you go, you have your treatment, and you come out. But people are thinking, you know what? This could be the last time I go to this place.
You potential to pick up something even more than what you did have in the first place.
Yes.
Or you join what they call the pathway.
I was fearful. I was really fearful.
You hear all this stuff about Liverpool pathway, and I mean they don't. If you look at what happened in Portsmouth, the people in their homes, I mean, the doctors are killing people, and there's no accountability.
This past way, the Neil by mouth thing. Do not resuscitate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Without asking people as well.
That's order.
I just think that's what I don't like is the narrative that's going around at the moment, and it's peddled not only especially by the media, and then it's also playing on fears where people that don't take the vaccine are seen as the enemy, and I don't like that at all.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier.
It's that bad that LBC sacked one of their DJs, I can't remember what his name is, the Asian guy, because one of the other presenters said, I can't believe that you've not taken the vaccine and you're spreading all these misinformation about vaccines. He'd been there for, I don't know how many years, 8 years, 6 years, and he had another, he's got about 3 months left of his current contract, but they sacked him that night because...
I don't understand. I just wish they'd stop. I just wish they'd stop. I just wish they'd stop saying that people who choose not to take the vaccine are selfish. It's not selfishness at all. I think the whole narrative is playing on people's fears. And when you play on people's fears, those that don't want to tell the line even more belligerent.
Well, that's the idea. Because when did it become a medical procedure to sort of do something on behalf of the community? Usually, a medical procedure is because you need something, not because I'm going to take this to prevent the next door neighbour getting it. I mean, when did that become a medical procedure? You know, you take something because it's for the greater good. When is a medical procedure ever been for the greater good? It's absolutely, you know.
I mean, I call them all now.
You make a good point, but the thing is, that's what they're doing.
They are doing it. But I associate them all. I call them all now Witchfinder Generals. Do you remember the thing about the Witchfinder General?
Salem, yeah. I think this country
the Witchfinder General, I'm not sure what century it was. Was it 14th, 15th century UK?
No, in the 1600s.
Right. So 17th century, they were saying that they were purporting that there were all these people all over the country, generally women, that were witches. And they were arresting these people, as in going and pulling them in, locking them up, and then they were torturing them, asking them to tell, and unless they told them they were a witch. Now, I think it is. Let me say that again. Unless they told them they were a witch, that's when they stopped the torture. But when they stopped the torture, they then burnt them at the stake. And this was an actual role of somebody within the country to go around and find these people and burn them at the stake. Torture them first, force them into saying that they're witches, and then burn them at the stake. And this is no different to what they're doing now, apart from they're not doing that to us yet. But they're doing everything they can to actually say,
you're being hounded.
Yes.
You're being hounded and pummeled into saying, look, you must submit, you must take the vaccine. And my point is this: if you're forced to do something against your will, and God forbid something happens, are they going to take care of your family?
Absolutely.
Or if you're married, are they going to pay the money to look after you? They're not.
No, they're not going to.
So I will not be bullied by them.
That's a strange thing, and you see, people don't seem to hear that the guys who are making this this medical thing have immunity. You know, so if you get your heart attack or your stroke and you die, the people that are still making their money. And there's no consequence to them. There's no drawback. You know?
It begs the question too, Lennox. All these people that are taking, all these people that are forcing people to take the vaccine, have they taken it themselves? You know,
well, that's another one.
Everybody on the earth is overpopulated. The cause of its overpopulation.
Said that the MPs have been taking
placebo.
Was it you, Lennis, that sent that video that said the MPs have been taking fake drugs, fake vaccines?
Yeah.
Oh yes, I've seen stuff.
Was it you?
Yeah.
Was that you?
I wouldn't be surprised.
And the reality is, this is what we said from day one. We said we have no idea what they're supposed to be pushing inside the body. The amount of times that the man with the fuzzy hair and the trampy suits is in hospital. Sorry, Boris. Sorry, our Prime Minister. The amount of times he's in hospitals. My God, he might as well work there full time. Constantly, he keeps going back to it because he thinks, you know what, this gives me good polling results. People like me when I'm in hospitals with my sleeves rolled up, taking my 37th vaccine. Boris, it's a load of bollocks. We all know it's rubbish. Go back behind your desk and do the job you're supposed to do.
No,
his
integrity is in question now. Come on.
You forget they put him in power. He is doing what he's supposed to do. That's his job. His job is to get everybody to get back. It's the next wave along, isn't it?
Well, you're all talking at the same time. Owen, what are you saying?
His integrity, Janet, was always in question.
But it's blown to shreds now.
It's even more untenable now because he's been having garden parties and discos. Why everybody?
He doesn't know if he's been at parties. Stop it! Stop lying about him. I'm not going to have a word said against him. Okay, it was at a party.
No, it was a work event.
Out of order. I thought it was a work event. Yeah, you always get in the garden with drinks and cheese and wine.
The thing is that, did you see him on Question Time yesterday? He was asking, he was saying, oh, we'll wait for the outcome of the inquiry.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Why? We know what happened.
Listen, there's one thing that we've all been naive about. And I'll tell you what this thing shows you. We are naive in thinking, I've got all my papers, I've got everything in order. When I go to court, or I go to this tribunal, and I speak the truth, I have to win because they're going to know it's actually the truth. No, they are not. They do not. You can go at them with as much truth as you like. The reality is, if your face doesn't fit, those goalposts are moved, and you can still turn out to be a loser.
Yeah.
Because these people, what we have learned is if there's one thing they're good at, it's moving the goalpost.
Yeah.
What the hell do you need to say? I'm not sure if it was a party. I was there for 25 minutes. Still don't know if it was a party. It was just outside my house. Still don't know if it was a party. Of course, he knows it was a bloody party. The worst thing is people were being fined for having more than two people in their back garden, thousands of pounds.
£10,000.
There you go.
£10,000 they were being charged. So I'm sorry, but whilst I might say, look, the Tories, and this is the other issue, the Tories are being as bad as the Republicans were with Trump. The reality is, if you see something wrong, stand up and say it's wrong. Don't pretend that you've not seen it or start to actually protect it. And this is exactly what they do. That makes it worse for all of them. They get them on, honestly, they get them on the edge.
The same thing that happened with the Republicans last year is happening now, because the Tories and the Republicans are just the same, and also too the person that the Republicans were protecting is as blonde as this blonde Dulux dog we've got here.
Yeah,
masquerading as
masquerading as a 17-year-old. He's got a 17-year-old hairstyle on the body of a very fat scarecrow. I don't understand what he thinks. You're the Prime Minister of England. Comb your hair. At least comb your hair.
Yes, no.
He's disgraceful. His behaviour and also to his cabinet's behaviour is disgraceful. Both his got caught with his hand up the woman's dress.
Yeah.
And Priti Patel. They're
Priti
all
Patel, bullying allegations. Yeah.
And they're the ones, would you believe, that have helped to put this country on the path to ruin. They have.
Yeah,
they're
you've got to remember something. You can't get rid of them.
Why not?
Well, no. I'll tell you what. Even although Boris has been once again, with blatant evidence against him, found to be a brigand and a liar and a cad and a bounder, these pots are going to vote for him again.
That's right.
Well, you see, this is what if the British vote him in, or the English vote him in again, they are thicker than pig shit. There's no other way to say it.
You've got to remember something as well. The Prime Minister and all the rest of his cabinet, have to keep him in. Otherwise, they're going to lose power as well. They've got no choice.
There you go. Well said. Absolutely. He is right. People think that they have to hold their nose out. With the Tories are caught between the devil and the deep blue sea, right?
Yeah. Yes.
You know, they are. It's rather the devil they know.
Right. Yes. Absolutely.
They're not going to do that.
As much as we may hate him, Boris is the original gangster. He is. I don't know anyone. He's a Teflon Don. He's got away with so many things. As much as Trump has done.
Yeah.
Look what he did to Allegra Strachan. He will throw people under the bus.
Throwing them to the walls, man. Yeah.
He's ruthless. He's disgraceful. As a matter of fact, he's a politician. I'm sorry to tell everyone the truth. He's ruthless. He's no fool. He's ruthless. And you know something else? What he'll do is this, and I think this is what's probably stirring now. The Tories know that they are whipped and embarrassed at the moment, and they're having to apologise, but with gritted teeth. Yeah.
Yeah, but what they're doing now is no different to the guy from Shrewsbury that they had to kick out.
This whole
they're
business
doing exactly the same thing again. They need to stop
this whole
going
business
around, kick him out, put somebody else in charge, and you might get a chance.
Nevel, sad to say, I agree with you, but they won't do it. I was listening to the news tonight. This new story that's on the horizon now about that woman. Is it Sarah Lee that's been funding all these parties, and getting close to a lot of British MPs? MI5 now, right, are singled her out as a potential Chinese spy.
That's right. Yeah.
But look at this. I believe that's another ruse again to shift the spotlight off the Tories who are getting burnt like crazy, because this woman has not only been found to be funding specific MPs, the picture and the story
from the Chinese government.
The story they picked out tonight was her close association with funding former Labour Party MPs. Now get this. Labour had a field day yesterday targeting Boris and really taking him to task. Although as a party, the Labour Party are useless at the moment. They're about as useful as a chocolate teapot. But the fact is, if they can shift the story away from them and shift it onto some MI5 bullshit, which could be true or false, about this Chinese woman who's a possible spy for Beijing, but was funding former Labour Party MP. They can bring Labour back in the spotlight as a new whipping boy. That's what it is.
Did you see what Priti Patel said?
Yeah.
No.
He said it was a threat to the country. That was the important part.
Yeah, but Tony, we know that she's a threat to the country.
Oh,
the brown-skinned woman that is doing the white man's dirty
work.
That's
right. Yes.
Who do you mean?
And other people.
So you're talking about her?
Spies.
Talking about Rishi?
Security.
You're talking about what's his name? Iraqi guy, but whatever his name is, him with the glasses and the bald head, that was charging, putting on expenses, heating his horses, stables to us. He was putting it on his expenses. And he's a multi-millionaire.
They will still vote for them. They
They're
will
all
still
sick.
come the by-election. They'll still vote for them. They'll say, "Oh well, you know." Or at least Boris. He tried to say he was sorry. You've got to give him the benefit of the doubt. We don't like him, but we don't want that Labour Party in, because if we have them in, they'll be spending money after money after money. Yet under the Tory government, since they've been in power, the country has accumulated more debt under their tenureship. Right? More debt than the previous Labour government. So there you go.
And where's the money coming from?
But when the Tories spend it, it's not spend. They're not spending it. They're spending it on us.
Oh no, never is. It's always a Labour Party for spending.
Yeah.
But they'll take money, and people like Boris will award his mates these contracts for the PPEs and wearing of the masks. But everyone will overlook that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I was a Corbyn. I'm not saying I'm a Corbynista, but you know, they'll.
Let me say with it. I am a Corbynista.
Right.
I knew nothing about it, but when he got in.
Hold on. They'll vilify Corbyn for what he was trying to do, and I think Corbyn was trying to do a lot of good things, and they'll put up with the deceit and the duplicitousness of what's supposed to be a legal government, taking the country for a ride.
Yeah,
it's disgraceful.
It is disgraceful.
It just is. I'm sorry,
it's disgraceful. They use Corbyn as a scapegoat because the thing about, you see, the English language is it can be a very dangerous tool. And what they did constantly is, if you go back and listen to any of those old Tories talking about anything when they wanted to bring Labour down, they talk about something, and before they finish, they're always vilifying the Labour Party for doing.
All the time.
Oh yeah, he's friends with these terrorists.
Yeah,
he doesn't believe. He's shaking. There's the party with these terrorists. Don't forget, they called Nelson Mandela a terrorist. They call anybody a terrorist when it suits them. But they can go and blow up people and do whatever they want to, but they're not terrorists.
That's right. They can go into countries, right?
I think the reason why they were so against Corbyn was he didn't want to fight people. He just wanted to talk things through peacefully and possibly do a handshake over it. They didn't like that.
Corbyn had a social conscience.
Yes.
That's what he had. But he was weak.
That's what they did. They didn't like. They like people who are prepared to start a war.
Well, that's wrong.
They're warmongers, Tony.
The Tory party, I can see that.
The Tory party, even the Labour Party under Blair. Blair started the Iraq War.
Yeah, but he was led by the Americans, wasn't he?
Whether he was led or not, he still believes he was right.
Yeah, well,
and wrong. That's the issue. That's my issue with him. If he said, you know what, I made an error, but he doesn't, he would do the same thing tomorrow that he did yesterday, and it was wrong. And to me,
on the matter of you have to remember,
knighthood,
one man's another man's freedom fighter.
He also called the people that refused to be vaccinated idiots. So you're calling us idiots. I'm taking that from him.
If you're not following the narrative, you're an enemy of the state.
Yeah.
And one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. You know, so if that's the if people like Hamas are terrorists, then Blair and his cronies and Bush and his cronies are terrorists too. They decimated Iraq.
You see, they don't. You can't call them that because they're peacekeepers. That's what they class themselves. They class themselves as peacekeepers. They're out of order.
Yeah. Well, they're a piece of something.
They're a piece of. They are a piece of something. And it smells everywhere.
They are duplicitous brigands of the highest order. Yeah. They are the biggest crook, and I don't use my words like that.
It's the absolute truth.
It brings us back to what you guys are talking about.
I was going to say, shouldn't Tony be summing up now? I mean, you know.
Well, no, we had two of the other two things. Because what I want to say, who actually agrees or thinks that this COVID thing is population control? Because I think Lennox believes that, doesn't it? Don't you, Lennox?
It's not about believing, though. It's not a belief system. It's about following the research. If you go and read Davos, it's not about a belief system, Tony. It's about the facts and figures that are out there. So it's not a question I believe, you know, I'm right wing, left wing, or whatever. The figures say, and they're not figures from people on the internet. These are the guys who sort of provide information to bankers and the stock market. They say it's their figures. They say that there's a population goal. I think for the next meeting, I'll try and get those figures. I'll try and get the paperwork together. It's not me. It's not about belief. It's they're saying this is what's going to happen. And what they have a list of how many people in the next 2 years, how many people are going to be left in Germany, how many people are going to be left in India. They go through all of the countries in the world. And but
they also, to be fair, Lennox, they also say, but why is this happening? And they say, well, we don't know, but why? Why do you think these figures are like this? Why?
To be fair, actually, they did have an adjustment from the figures like from 2 years ago. They did readjust. But I mean, what happens is the UK, we're left with 5 million people. At the moment, we have 60 million people living here. And it's 5 million. No, they don't give a reason why, but they say this is what's going to happen. There's going to be a catastrophic population decline.
In when?
And they don't. It doesn't war. They don't say it's war, because I mean it's one thing that somebody lets off a nuclear device, but they don't say that. So there's nothing catastrophic like a war. There's not in their figures. There's nothing to do with war or anything like that. But suddenly there's a decline in the West, in the Western populations. China and India are the only populations that don't change.
There's a decline in the Western population because, right, they're not having enough kids for a start. The lifestyle is different. And if you look at the planet, and this is to support what Leonard was saying, if you look at the planet, the ratio of darker or non-white people on the planet far outweighs those of white skin, right?
That's right.
But the controllers of the money on the planet, where's that situated? It's situated in the Northern European and Nordic and United States. They're the people that can afford to do these things. They're the people that can call the shots. Tony asked whether or not it was whether we believe this the COVID situation is covertly population control. I'm moving into that train of thought. I think it always was.
Yes. I'm nearly there as well. Because what I've looked at, what I've thought about, those testing centres are testing centres, but they're also data gatherers.
Yeah, that's what.
Yes.
They're finding out who it affects, how well it affects them, how badly it affects them. I think that when they ask you your plasma test or whatever that test was, I think they're trying to work out why are you still immune? Why have you been affected? If it was targeted, and let's say it was targeted against black people, as an example, why are black people surviving? Because we've all gone around and told everybody, take this, take this, take this, take this, take this, and try and stay as well as you can. And I think that's a problem. So my mindset, when I heard all these conspiracy theories, I think to myself, no. Everyone's just being stupid now. But the more I think about it, and I think about why those stations are there, why they're testing, the data they're collecting, the emails and text messages they're sending you, it's worrying. It is worrying now.
It's a way of having it without having to start a conventional war to wipe out populations. And you know something, if you look at the wider picture, it's a brilliant game they're playing, because rather than bullets and bombs, why not a virus? Or rather than bullets and bombs, why not a most incredulous story, right? That something is out there which is killing us, which now happens naturally anyway. But spin that by saying, okay, well, we need to know how many people are on the planet. We need to target how much people to get rid of, who should live, basically, who should die, right? But let's put fear first, then create a story, and then create a scenario between us and them, meaning the chosen are the vaccinated ones, and the outlaws are the ones that are trying to think for themselves, but paint them as idiots or paint them as people that are ill-informed, and that's what's happening. We are witnessing this right here, right now. And just to end, as I'm saying here, how many times have we seen that scenario in movies? And there's a saying that goes, art imitates life, imitating art. Right?
Yeah. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
These movies come from someone's imagination. This move here, this scenario has come from people's collective thoughts saying, okay, we're on the losing end here. We've got to fight back. We've got to orchestrate something where we can reduce the populace. And that is as clinical as it is, so that we can maintain power. It's about maintaining power where rich white people don't necessarily want to be on the receiving end. They don't want to be out.
I'll give you an example. You look at when Jeff Bezos went to a party with his new missus and Leonardo DiCaprio. How close were those people together?
But there's a better one I saw yesterday, and it was Macron meeting up with all these famous people, no masks, everybody face to face, hugging and everything. Macron.
Look at the G7. What they're doing.
And then this is Macron doing a video conference call, sitting in the room on his own, wearing a mask. So he needs a mask, but he's in a room on his own. He doesn't need it when he's next door to people that are on the same level as him. What a load of bollocks. The fact. And he was there, and he was like,
if you go back to when the government minister was, the country, all of the dignitaries in the other countries were meeting in Glasgow last year.
Yes, that's right.
Did they have masks? They were on the beach for crying out loud, hugging each other, and yet we were told we couldn't do that thing. Did they think we're stupid? Did they really think we're that daft? Apparently we are.
They know that the majority of people are stupid and will fall for it. But
I would challenge that, because if we are making that assumption based on who gets interviewed by the media, remember the media arm, no matter what they say, is an arm and an instrument of the government.
Yes, it is.
They are.
Yeah.
They may be a bit left or a little bit right of centre or central. They are primarily an instrument of the government or the state. We know that of these news reports that were, I think Lennox made some sort of allusion to that. How do we know, right, that after the reports that we hear on the news, they're supposedly coming from independent sources, independent thinking minds, aren't as a result of the government calling a lot of the broadcasters for a secret meeting to say, look, we want you to run this story this way.
Yeah. I'm sure that happens, absolutely.
Exactly. That's why stations like GBTV is neither here nor there, but an Al Jazeera and RT, they're locked out of their story because they're saying something different. BBC, ITV, all saying the same thing. Now, where does that come from?
I'll tell you what I will do though. I will give BBC their credit.
The government ministers that says you must push this narrative, and that's exactly what I think.
Yeah, but I'll give BBC their credit, because this morning I was listening to Charlie question who's the minister that used to be in charge of the army.
I don't know.
He's got one he speaks a lot like that. But I looked at this one, he looked really different. I thought, what's happened to him? He's like he'd lost weight, he'd gone grey. I'm thinking he's under some serious pressure. But Charlie asked him some questions, and the man answered the question and said, with all due respect, that wasn't the question I asked you. I asked, and he kept repeating it until the guy gave him as near as possible the answer. But he wouldn't give him the right answer. And Charlie, every single time, because I've noticed with these presenters sometimes, they do pull them up. That's not the question I asked.
Yes. I think we've tried to certainly a lot more, I think, since this pandemic. And they do seem to ask more challenging questions.
Yeah.
But they don't always get the answers, because politicians, they give the answers that they want to give, not them won't answer the question directly. I mean, it's like when Boris, a couple of nights ago, someone asked him something, and he just repeated textbook, that Sue whatever is doing an investigation and blah blah blah. So he totally avoided the questions and just repeated twice exactly, because as far as he's concerned, that's the only information he's looking to give you, nothing more.
But you know something else too, John?
He's one of the worst ones.
They're trying to force the public to look forward to this so-called investigation like it's something special, right? Like the outcome of this investigation could then prosecute the government. It can't, because the person that's actually doing the investigation is Boris's friend.
Yeah. Well, he's the first one had to step down, didn't he? But the first one had to the first guy who was meant to do the investigation initially, he had to step down because it merged, but he'd been partying as well. So that's why it's now this woman, Sue, whatever her name is, that's doing it.
It's another whitewash, because this woman is part of the cabinet. It is not as independent as I'd have us think it is.
She's a senior civil servant,
They're still at the time to hatch another plan to save Boris's neck, because I still believe that as much as they're disgruntled with Boris, there's no one else out there.
Yeah, they'd rather have Boris than anybody else.
That is Brandon Lewis.
Well, let's see what the police have to say, because I mean it's been reported to the police. So let's see what sort of spin they put on it. I can't see him being prosecuted. You're right, but it'll be interesting to see how they what narrative they spin.
Hang on,
not to prosecute them.
I mean, no offense by them saying we're going to bring the police in. Cressida Dick couldn't organise a piss up in a brewery. She's the worst person in charge of anything. She is absolutely diabolical. She's been in charge when people in the police have been killing and raping women, police officers, and she.
Well, let's see what they say, because it's only next week after next, isn't it?
These people will not. They don't take any blame. They don't. It's nothing to do with them. She won't resign. She should have been sacked, not resigned.
Well,
we'll
have to wait and see what the outcome of that report is. That would be interesting reading, I have to say.
Listen, guys, I've got to go. I'm sitting on the Asda car park.
Absolutely, I think it's timely, because we all need to choose.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for your time, guys. I think I'll have to call the other two topics maybe next week.
Do you know what, Tone? I'll be honest. The world's given us enough topics for us to have to worry about anything. If something comes out next week, then we don't need to debate. Trust me.
Okay.
If you make it that long with that cough, I don't know if you'll be there long enough for the next meeting with that cough. It don't sound good at all.